Who is the best rapper of every decade? It's a hard question to answer, but there's definitely answers, and I'm gonna let y'all know. First things first, thank y'all for tuning in to another video. The song of the week. I haven't done this in so long, but the song of the week for me, let me see. I'm gonna actually pick my most listened to song of this week, which is because it's recently been reintroduced to me by TikTok. Shout out to the popularity of TikTok and things like that. 5 to 50 by Benny the Butcher has been reintroduced to me, and I remembered why I loved that song so much. Like when it first came out. Shout out to my boy Benny. Great song, great rapper, great artist. Just good at what he does, man. But it's a great song. If you haven't heard it, you probably have already if you're on TikTok. So yeah, go listen to it again. And I'm bringing the song of the week shit back because I want to. Not really much else to say about that. But let's just get into this. I'm starting in the 1980s and I'm going all the way to the 2010s. There's a lot of honorable mentions on this because rap is so fucking stuffed with great musicians. But I tried to keep it down to at least like less than 7. But it easily could be like 20 on each. Like there's just so many people for each decade that could be considered. There's so many repeats that could be considered. I tried to avoid doing repeats, but sometimes it's just impossible. You're going to see that. And yeah, I didn't do 2020s because it's not over yet. I'm gonna just spoil it for y'all right now. If I had to pick at this very moment who the rapper of the 2020s would be, it's pretty obvious. It would be Kendrick Lamar because of what he was able to do during this decade. He dropped one of his most introspective albums when it comes to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and he also dropped a very good album to just listen to and dance to, which a lot of people, like, that's a big complaint with a lot of non-Kendrick Lamar fans. It's like he's so hard to get into sometimes because of how, like, heady it all became at one point. So listening to something like GNX is very easy for somebody who simply just wants to listen to music and enjoy themselves, rather than like enjoy themselves while also thinking and like understanding the message that's trying to come through the song. You know, it was good for a lot of people to be reintroduced to Kendrick in that way and be like, oh, he's not just this heady, overthinking ass rapper guy. Because for some reason that was like a big thing for him for a very long time. Honorable mentions would be like, I don't know, Nas has had a low-key great decade so far. Clips off of what they dropped last year, they could very well be on that because that's probably, I think I put that as my best album of the 2020 so far because I just love that album. I still listen to it to this day. Shout out to Pusha T. Shout out to my boy Malice. Sorry, Ice. Fuck Ice. Well, once again, let's just get straight to this. In the 1980s, I have a group that dropped a lot of albums that I am very fond of because I grew up listening to this group a good bit. De La Soul. Specifically, they dropped their first like official album, I believe, in 89. So they barely made it to be a part of this. But, man, this album is just 3 Feet High and Rising is just such a great album. It is so fun to listen to. It put me on to a lot of different like music at this time, the way that rap can sound. Like at the time they were very different in comparison to other rap sounding when it comes to like the subject matter and things like that. Big fan of them. I love I Know. It has Otis Redding. It put me on to Otis Redding at a young age. I know that's crazy to think of, but yeah, I love this song. I love this album. I'm sorry. I love this album. I love this group. And I feel like they're the best group and they have the best performance of the 1980s, which is very hard to come up with, to be honest with you. But I have them. Honorable mentions. It was hard to come up with a concise group of honorable mentions, but I have Rakim, LL Cool J, Big Daddy Kane, and NWA. I feel like impact-wise, NWA or like LL Cool J should be a little higher. They should actually be number 1. But when it comes to my personal preference, I would much rather have De La Soul here. In the 90s, I have the big... I'm not going to call him nothing crazy. I have Biggie. And it's simply because I think he was the best rapper of this era. And this is a very hard era to do. You're going to see from the honorable mentions. But I think he has the best consistent performances as a rapper. And he also has some of the most influence we've seen from a rapper ever. Genuinely ever. Some honorable mentions we have is Jay-Z, Nas, Tupac, and Big L. Big L is probably the best rapper overall, in my opinion, out of these. It's between Biggie, Nas, and Big L, but like Big L obviously didn't have that type of career longevity that Nas had, and Biggie had way more impact than Big L had. Tupac, Obviously, I love Tupac. He's definitely, like, no doubt an honorable mention. Jay-Z, of course, an honorable mention as well. He really helps rap skyrocket into a different place when it comes to popularity and everything like that. I just think that Biggie overall as a rapper and what he was able to impact and do in such a short amount of time with such a compact, like, discography is so impressive. And he's also, like, I think one of the greatest rappers, point blank, of all time. I'm kind of getting through this quickly. But coming up to these next few decades, I am going to be a lot more in depth because this is my area. This is where I have the most, like, comfortability with, you know what I mean? So they have the most honorable mentions, and they also, like, I can talk about it a little bit more. Just give me a second. For the 2000s, my honorable mentions are, once again, I said I tried to avoid having duplicates and things like that, but Jay-Z is on this. Lil Wayne is on this as an honorable mention. 50 Cent on this. Eminem and MF Doom. So all these people were heavily considered for my favorite rapper or the best rapper of the 2000s decade. The reason why Jay-Z didn't get it is because I feel like this person had more consistency throughout the decade. Wayne as well. I feel like this person was more consistent. Wayne has the highest output for sure. If you also put into account mixtapes, features, things like that, even like group projects with Young Money at the time. So yeah, you know, that's something you can really look into if you really value that a lot, for sure. I have 50 Cent on here just off of pure, like, star power. 50 Cent was that guy in the 2000s, like, genuinely probably the biggest rapper in the world at that time when it comes to people just consistently looking out for his music, playing his music. And the only person I can really put above him is who I have above him, and possibly Eminem. Speaking of Eminem, though, I know a lot of people are going to be like, this is obviously Eminem, and because Eminem has such, like, a strong, opinionated fan base, and I feel like, in my opinion, I am not a part of that fan base when it comes to that. I can recognize that his earlier work is so, like, it's so pivotal to what rap is, and he was also just so good at what he did. And a lot of people continue to, like, talk about how good he was, which is great. I'm happy that they can do that. But what I can say is, it's just not all the way there for me personally when it comes to rap. I don't know. I'm just not really into that. I don't want to try to downplay it, but I feel like Eminem has the most tumultuous effect on rap music ever, because he gave a lot of people who shouldn't be rapping the type of the confidence to rap, that spiritual, lyrical, miracle bullshit. I'm so sorry. I understand he also must have influenced a lot of great artists, but when it comes to, like, people who rap like that, who just fast rap and go, I go sit, that shit sucks. I'm not gonna mince words. That is trash, and he influenced that entire generation of rap. So I'm gonna have to, like, dock him some points for that, unfortunately. MF Doom, he's here. Shout out to Doom, RIP Doom, love him. Insanely unique rap style. A lot of people don't rap like him. I don't think we've seen another person rap like him ever. He is influential to a lot of the younger demographic. You know what I mean? He was influential to a lot of people who are coming up in the 2010s that I will mention later on. And I'm biased. I love MF Doom. He's one of my favorite rappers of all time, so he's going to be on this list. But number one is my favorite rapper of all time. Ignore the real life stuff. I don't really listen to his music anymore these days because I feel like what he's done as a person has tainted a lot of his historic stuff, but I cannot deny the greatness of 2000s Kanye. He dropped 5 albums, I believe, in the 2000s. It was College Dropout, Late Registration. In between that, he dropped 808s and Heartbreak. Then he dropped Graduation, and then he dropped My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Or I think My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was was 2010, but I still would put it in that decade. I don't really care. But yeah, it's still around the same time frame. He dropped 5 of the best albums ever. 808s is incredibly influential, like incredibly influential to what has come from it in rap music, like artists that have come from that type of music in rap. And to be honest, the Graduation trilogy is just like, It's the best trilogy of all time in rap. I'm so sorry. I listen to that stuff more than I think I've breathed a day in my life. Like, it's such a crazy thing to listen to for the first time, because it's like, how does he continue to produce at such a high level while writing at such a high level and making me feel this type of way while listening to the music? Obviously, he's off the rails now, and I never want to hear a Kanye song that's modern ever again because it sucks. But I cannot deny that 2000s and early 2010s Kanye was a fucking dog. I can't deny it. I'm so sorry. I wish I could, because, you know, the things that he's done to groups of people and the way that he's indoctrinated a lot of people's minds, let them think that a lot of stuff that he said is really cool and nice. He's an amazing artist. He's a visionary. He's a genius. Like, like the entire 2000s for Kanye, he was a fucking genius. Early 2010s, he continued to spread that seed of like being intelligent when it comes to music. It's just that he began to, you know, get unmedicated and things like that, and everything started to get a lot worse. I'm gonna be honest, everything just kept getting worse. Talking about him depresses me, but he's the best. If I had to go with his best song, I have a whole list of that on my phone. I don't know if it would still be that, but let's see. It's gonna take me a while because I have so many notes. Like, I have so many notes on my phone. It's a problem, bro. Let me search. I'm gonna search the name Kanye. Top 15 songs. I haven't updated this since 2024. So it's been almost 2 years. Number 1 is Hey Mama. Yeah. That's like... Okay, I'll just read it out right now. You know, I don't have to make this a whole separate video. My top 15 Kanye songs. Number 15 is Everything I Am. 14 is Jesus Walks. Just real quick, honorable mentions though: Life of the Party, The Glory, and Gorgeous. Those are some of my honorable mentions. Number 13, I just have No. I think I might have thought of something else. I really don't remember what I was doing there. Number 12 is Bound 2. Number 11 is Ghost Town. 10 is Roses. 9 is We Don't Care. 8 is Champion. 7 is Family Business. 6, We Major. Which is like, the way I talk about that song, you'd be surprised it's not in my top 3, let alone my top 5. But it's the hardest top 10 I think I've ever done. At 5, I have Runaway. 4, I have Through the Wire. And 3, I have Devil in a New Dress. 2, I have All Falls Down, and number 1, I have Hey Mama. So, you know, he has some of my favorite songs of all time. I have a lot of sentimental value towards this type of music. So, shout out to the 2000s. Sorry, I lost a lot of energy during that. 2010s. Let's do the honorable mentions. Freddie Gibbs, Pusha T, Wayne again, because he just didn't have that much output in the 2010s when it comes to his own solo projects. Other than like mixtapes, of course, he's gonna drop mixtapes. But I'm talking about like personal projects. He doesn't have that many, so he can't be any higher. Kanye is still here because the few projects he dropped early on in the decade were very good. Tyler, the Creator, really sprung himself into this conversation. But I feel like he'd have more of a conversation if we were doing 2017 onwards rather than the entire 2010s and not including the 2020s. Because 2020s, I believe he has some of his best work, and 2017 and 2019, those are his only 2 albums that are really in the running with other ones when it comes to Flower Boy and Igor. J. Cole, I can't say enough. I'm excited for February. He's dropping this February. I cannot wait. He has a lot of great albums during this decade, a lot of mixtapes. His real like sprouting into greatness happened during this decade, so shout out to him. And now y'all probably thinking, there's 2 names left that really fit. And of course, it's Drake or Kendrick Lamar. I said I'm trying to avoid duplicates. Kendrick Lamar would have been my 2020s rapper of the decade. So my 2010s rapper of the decade is Kendrick Lamar again. Drake is second, and this is why. Drake, number 1, wasn't exclusively just a rapper during this decade. He was trying to become more of an R&B sort of artist during this time. So all of his albums that he dropped this year simply are not rap. Take Care is not a simple rap project. And I'm not trying to just leave rap in a box. Of course, he also had great rapping performances throughout this decade. But when it comes to pure like artist within this genre, nobody did what Kendrick Lamar did. Kendrick had, just a quick one. I'm gonna go to his discography of the 2010s, and we're gonna compare them. We're gonna start with Drake. Actually, let's do it. And this is coming from a time when I was a fan of Drake, because I was a fan of Drake during the 2010s. It started to peter off later on, but he has Thank Me Later, Take Care, Nothing Was the Same. If you're reading this, it's too late. Views, More Life, Scorpion, and that's it for the 2010s. I'm gonna tell you right now, Scorpion is one of the worst albums I've ever heard in my life. No one will ever convince me that it's good. More Life is fine. Views is great. If you're reading this, too late is great. Everything before this time, everything before 2017 from Drake, great. Literally, like, I enjoy it a lot. So I can understand why somebody would be like, okay, how are you gonna give it to Kendrick when he has such less output during this time period? Well, let's look at it. Okay, we have Overly Dedicated, Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, Untitled Unmastered, Damn, and and then he also did the soundtrack for Black Panther. Damn, I love that album. I revisit it on a regular basis. Untitled Unmastered, an amazing project when it's just just songs that he didn't finish or didn't want to drop. To Pimp a Butterfly is the greatest rap album of all time. Good Kid, Mad City is a top 5 rap album of all time. You can't compete with that type of shit. In the span of 3 years, Kendrick Lamar dropped 2 of the top 5 rap projects ever, in my opinion. There is nothing you can do. I'm sorry. You cannot have a better decade than that. You can't. Like, you genuinely can't. And I remember when Apple Music dropped their best albums ever tier list, or their ranking, and they had Good Kid, Mad City, and they didn't want to put 2 Kendrick Lamar albums on there for some reason, and they didn't have To Pimp a Butterfly on there. I don't want to talk about it because I'm gonna get in my soapbox and I won't stop talking. But what I will say is, if you've never heard those albums, listen to them free of mind, literally. Just sit down without any expectation. Listen to those albums. If you love jazz music, you will love it. If you love any sort of introspective anything, you will love it. If you love rap, you will love these albums. I don't think any of them won any awards. I don't know if this Butterfly won an award. I don't know if Good Kid, Mad City won any awards. I think T-Pab lost to Macklemore, which is crazy. But yeah, the fact that these are the 2 of the best albums of all time, they don't have the recognition they deserve, is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's not really a competition for me for the 2010s. I know a lot of people are going to disagree, which is fine. If you're a big Drake guy, that's your thing. Not really my thing, especially not later on in the decade. He started dropping the most boring music of all time. And ever since then, it's consistently been the most boring music of all time, where he says the most basic punchline and shit, but everybody is so fucking stupid. I'm going to be honest, he says the most normal thing ever, and everyone's like, oh my God, he did that shit. That happened so many times on Scorpion while listening to it. I'm like, yo, he's just going for punchlines and trying to make shit sound like an Instagram caption. It sounds like fucking garbage. And then he dropped one of my least favorite songs of all time. Ratchet Happy Birthday is the worst shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. Genuinely speaking. But I'm not here to talk shit about Drake. I'm here to talk about the best rappers of each decade. Let me know what y'all agree with. Let me know what y'all disagree with. I know this is just a great video. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. Make sure to subscribe, share this with your friends, share this with your fans, share this wherever you know your life in the Lord. I'll see you next time, and peace.